Hey everybody, welcome back. Week 8 NFL's in the books. Well, for the most part, we got the Sunday night game going on. We got the Monday night game going on tomorrow. But I got up early. I watched some action from over in England. Poker guy, what about you? Did you see any of that Eagles-Jaguars game?
I saw zero of it. I didn't even, thank God I didn't have to tune into that. The only thing that I heard from that, like the little blurb, is people were booing the Jacksonville Jaguars, even though they've been to London like 9 times, but they were getting booed, which is pretty funny.
I mean, the more you see the Jaguars, the more likely you are to boo them. So that's just the English fans being ahead of the curve when it comes to rooting for American football. So Eagles took this one 24-18. They moved to 500 at 4-4. Jaguars fall to 3-5. Big story for this game, though, was the pregame action that the Jaguars had going on in the nightclubs before the game.
I did not hear about this. You're going to have to fill me in a little bit here.
All right, so a bunch of Jaguars head to some trendy nightclub in England. I don't know what fucking city they're in. I assume that they're in London, but that's about the only city that my ignorant American self knows that exists over in London. So they're in London. If they're not in London, I'm going to put them in London for the purposes of this story. So they're over there. They hit up the VIP room at this club, and I think there's 8 or 10 of them that end up going there, but 4 guys in particular get stuck with the bill at the end of the night of $64,000. So 50,000 pounds and or $64,000. And they were using their American privilege card and intending to leave without paying any of that bill. So apparently something got lost in translation with the accents. I don't know, people couldn't understand each other. I don't know how it goes. I think they got in a bit of fisticuffs with the staff at the bar. They were detained. They were kept from leaving. And then they were henceforth arrested by the cops that do not carry guns. They wouldn't have got me. They wouldn't have been able to take me in. You ain't got a gun, you ain't taking me in. I don't understand how 4 American football players let cops. These guys, and the other thing too, these are 4 defensive backs. This is Barry Church and a bunch of other dudes.
Not the smallest people on the roster.
Yeah, they're small, they're quick. How are you gonna let a bunch of white dudes with no guns get you? You got legs, you're a top athlete. Get out of there. But anyhow, they end up sticking around. They got arrested. And then apparently everyone's framing this as a misunderstanding, right? It's always a misunderstanding when you're...
It's always a misunderstanding.
It's always a misunderstanding when you're guilty of a crime. That's the best way to put it. I'll tell you what, I didn't understand we had to pay that bill. I thought that they said that they thought that it was all being comped, right? So apparently they thought they were YouTube influencers or something, and they deserved to get free bottles of vodka at whatever club they go to. The personnel at the club thought differently, and so the law enforcement agents. And from what I understand, the bill has been settled and they have been released. The other interesting thing about that is there's actually absolutely no discipline taken by the Jaguars. So they looked at the situation. They said, "Oh my God, this is half our defensive backfield and probably a good portion of their special teams units. We're going to, quote, handle this internally." And so whenever you handle something internally, it means you're not going to do anything about it and you're just going to sweep it under the rug. But karma caught up with them. They managed to, I don't know if they even scored at all. Aside from one
touchdowns.
One Blake Bortles touchdown. But other than that, I think they're just stacking field goals up across the board. And not a good game to watch. Wentz was...
You watched it?
I watched part of it. So wow. I wouldn't be so bold as to say I watched this entire game. That'd be a lie, a Maury Povich style lie. Hey Tina, remember when you said that you didn't fuck the entire basketball team? That's a lie. That's a lie. You did. You did. And I didn't actually watch the whole game, but I was glad to see that the Jaguars lost. I'm not against the Jaguars, but I'm really enjoying them imploding. They're not imploding the way that the Giants are, though. So the Giants, they hosted the Redskins. We Nostradamus this thing, called it. Redskins moved to 5-2 after the victory of the Giants, 20-13. And hey, do you think that AP? Do you think the CD or the DVD got stopped halfway through, Or do you think he even went all the way back through and then watched The Rock twice with the director's commentary? Because that's how he played today.
I think he's the type of man that, he covers all of his bases. He's got the DVD. If the DVD fails, he's got the MP4 on his iPod. If that shit fails, he has the cloud backup. If that shit fails, he can go next door. He's got copies of this movie. As we now know for a fact, Adrian Peterson does in fact listen to this podcast. Tell him why, Bobby. How do we know that he watches the podcast?
Here's the thing: is I think that he's been doing that for years. So what you're referring to is AD's touchdown celebration. So when he gets down, when he scored that last touchdown, that 64-yard dagger to put the Giants away, he had the Giants fans screaming, "What kind of fucked up tour is this?" And they were just disheartened as he knelt down in the end zone. And you sent me a screenshot of the side-by-side of AD.
It's identical.
It's
identical.
It's absolutely identical of him kneeling down there. And then the screenshot of at the end of The Rock, once Nicolas Cage neutralizes it, pops green smoke and waits for the cavalry to come, of Nicolas Cage falling down on his knees and then holding those green flares above his head.
He's calling off the Harriers. He's got the flares going, so the Harriers are not dropping the bomb, and that's the signal, and that's when the Harriers fly away.
Yeah, that's an important plot point, though, because that's what helps Sean Connery get away at the end of it. He says, he was incinerated or vaporized. I think is the word that he used.
Yeah, vaporized.
To describe to Womack. Womack. So they ended up taking it's 2013, but the game really wasn't that close. Eli Manning, pity touchdown. OBJ had some good one-handed catches. There was even one of his one-handed catches that he actually needed to make a one-handed catch instead of just doing that thing where someone throws it at his chest.
Does a one-handed catch just because.
And then he dives on the ground and then just palms it just because he thinks it looks cool. But Eli Manning, he's officially we've been cooking him all year. Everybody's been cooking him all year. I think the Giants are about 4-20 over the last 2 years. They've got the worst record in the NFC over that time period. And it's the end, man. This is the end for Eli. It'll be interesting to see how many more games he plays. Barkley only had 38 yards rushing. Hey, way to spend a number 2 pick on that guy. But no, he's a generational talent. He's a generational talent, so they're going to stand behind him. But that's a decision I would say that's a decision that set their franchise back, years and years. But the way it's looking, they're going to get another crack at these top quarterbacks because it looks like them, the Raiders, and the Niners, I think they're all 1-7 dueling for that number 1
to the
pick.
bottom. Yeah, they're racing to the bottom.
So apparently the Giants are in trusting the process here as well. They are just going to tank it out the rest of the year and see if they can't become the next Cleveland Browns. So Cleveland Browns,
go ahead.
For it. Go for it.
Do you think Adrian Peterson should get like the comeback player of the year or whatever kind of bullshit award the NFL gives? Because he's been playing really well.
So there's this old movie on HBO. I don't know what it's called, but it's about old black baseball league with Satchel Paige and a bunch of other guys.
Okay.
And Delroy Lindo is the actor that plays Satchel Paige. I don't remember the movie in its entirety, but towards the end of it, he's heading into pitch. It's like one of the last scenes of the movie. And this guy turns to him and he says, Hey, Satch, man. He's like, but you ain't even warmed up yet. And the guy Satch turns at him, he looks him dead in the eye and goes, but I ain't never cooled down. So I don't think
nice.
It's classics. But that's the way I feel about AP, man. Like, I don't think that he can win the comeback player of the year award because he ain't never go away. I mean, Sean Payton did his best to make Adrian Peterson look like an asshole. But that's just the thing. He had 26 carries today, and that's what you got to do. He's hungry. Like, you got to give that man 26 carries. 26 carries, coupon for his future segue, and then just let him eat. Just let him eat. Like, that's the recipe for success. And Jay Gruden is finally realizing that. Probably because he's listening to the pod all the time. Hey, Jay, how you doing? Shout out to you.
I'll see you in Las Vegas in like 3 years, buddy.
Yeah, another guy who's listening to the pod's Hugh Jackson. So Hugh Jackson, apparently, he's heard he's got money down on this sideline fist fight because he's doing everything he can to cut Todd Haley's legs out from under him. Last week, Hugh Jackson came out and said, hey, our offense is a turd, and I feel like I might get into some of this play calling. Well, that's carried over, and if he did or if he didn't, no matter who was calling the plays for the Browns today, they stunk. Steelers covered the 8.5, 33-18. Steelers go to 4-2-1. Big moment from this game was that free kick after the safety. Did you see that? Did you hear about that?
I did not see that.
So Browns get a safety. Their left tackle's holding one of the Steelers linemen in the end zone. They get called for a safety. And this is Mike Tomlin looking like a moron, but being saved eventually by Hugh Jackson's ineptitude. So Steelers get a free kick. The Browns, they do that weird thing where on a free kick, you have your punter kick off the ball in a kickoff formation. And the Steelers return team, some dude calls for a fair catch. Another guy gets mixed up. They don't catch the ball. Mm-hmm. The ball hits the ground and they just let it sit there. And then the Browns go and pick it up. And it's Browns ball. It's Browns ball. And that's just another example of Mike Tomlin not being Bill Belichick. Because I don't know if Mike Tomlin knows the rules that well. He's been doing this for 30 years or something. Bill Belichick's team would never let the free kick drop and let the other team recover. It's basically like the Browns did a 60-yard onside kick. But they bailed him out. I think they ended up kicking a field goal in that situation. Roethlisberger looked good. And Le'Veon who? Got the fucking Terminator. Connor, 146 yards, 2 TDs. Brown, 2 TDs. A lot of fun times for Pittsburgh Steelers fantasy owners today.
Yeah. What's James Conner's backup name again? What's his name?
I have no idea.
Le'Veon Bell. Yeah. So
he's
like you said, burn. But like you said, I think a good move would just be to franchise him again, tell him to fuck off, because James Conner's been playing really well. So.
Just keep franchising him. Just keep franchising him. Do not franchise him. He's going to sign it this year in week 10. You'll end up having to pay him $6 million, and you got a nice fresh backup for James Conner at the end of the year, and then just do it all again next year.
What do you think Le'Veon Bell does during these games? Like, is he in the vicinity? Like, is there some kind of legal stipulation where he's got to be close by, or is he at home?
He's doing whatever the hell he wants to. He is as obligated to the Steelers as you or I are. Like, he is not signed to them. He has no obligation to be around to do anything to help them out. So he's doing. So he's literally
doing the exact same thing that you and me are doing on a Sunday. Eating ice cream, masturbating, and not doing anything.
Yeah.
Awesome.
He's maybe masturbating less than you or I. But I don't know. I don't know what Le'Veon's masturbatory schedule's really like. We'd have to get to him on Twitter, see what he's got going on as far as that goes.
We'll do the research.
Yeah, we'll get research on that. We'll see if he references that on any of his social media platforms. What was funny, though, is there was one guy he's either on Twitter or Instagram or something like that. He took an old picture of him that he met Le'Veon Bell, in Tampa at a strip club or something over the summertime. And, took a selfie with the guy. And then he tweeted it out and he tagged Adam Schefter and some of these Ian Rappaport and some of these other losers that are, way more famous and rich than we are. These losers. Yeah, some of those morons. Anyhow, he texted it out or put it out there, and he's like, hey, man, I ran into Le'Veon over the weekend. He said he's going to be in Pittsburgh on Wednesday. He's going to report. A bunch of people picked up on that, and he basically catfished a bunch of NFL reporters. But and then the other big news in Cleveland is Tyronn Lue, the mastermind behind the Cleveland Cavaliers NBA championship. He's no longer the head coach of the Cleveland Cavs. And that's I
So
mean, that's probably warranted, but if you're going to fire a coach in Cleveland, how is it not Hugh Jackson? I mean, how is it not Hugh Jackson? You're going to fire Tyronn Lue. I understand that there are different owners of the teams. Believe me, I get that. I'm not obtuse to that. But if you're going to fire a coach, how are you going to fire one? How are you going to fire one that has an NBA championship? Yeah, I get it. You could have thrown you or I in there, or a baked potato, whoever it could be. LeBron's running the show there,
yeah,
but he's still got a ring, whether you like it or not. And how do you fire? How does he get fired? But Hugh Jackson still has a job. I saw something today where it said Hugh Jackson has a 218th worst record of 219 coaches. I don't know who that 219th guy is, but man, that's tough. It's tough being on that rung below Hugh.
Yeah, I just, with this information age, I feel like you can, I don't know, I feel like I could put in my resume, do my homework, play a lot of Madden, and, be able to be a coach. I don't
Yeah,
understand how this guy still has a job. Going back to Ty Lue, though, he coached the GOAT, he got a ring, and then he made a shitload of money for a contract that he already got paid for. And then his roster's dog shit now. J.R. Smith is the leader of the team now, for God's sakes.
well,
And
you
now,
got Kevin Love and Larry Nance.
right,
Okay. All right. Yeah.
dude.
Okay.
And so you have these guys, and now you don't have to coach them anymore. So now you can, on Sundays, you can go home and watch the Red Zone and wear your pajama pants and masturbate and get
Yeah,
paid.
he's on the Le'Veon Bell offseason program at this point.
It's not a bad gig, and to be honest and to be fair, I think Ty Lue doesn't give a shit. I think he knows what his role was, just to be LeBron's jester, and that's about it. He's done.
I feel like he's got $15 million coming to him. It's hard to feel bad for anybody who's got $15 million coming to him.
Yeah, I mean,
So
he's doing better than you and me.
it's kind of like I don't feel bad for Earl Thomas just because he only got $10 million and he broke his leg. I'm not
And
feeling bad for you, Earl.
give you a proverbial finger. Fuck you, buddy.
Yeah, fuck you too, Earl, from everybody in the Seahawks organization.
Did you
Seahawks,
see
speaking of
that?
Seahawks, go.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Speaking of the Seahawks went into the Lions 28-14. They ended up taking that one. Lions got out to a quick start, got hammered in the second quarter. Stafford couldn't bring him back. Russell Wilson, I don't know. We were all over him before the season started. He's actually looking pretty good. I try and keep my eyes off most of the Seahawks games because they bore me. They bore me so much for whatever reason. I can't get a handle on it. But
I think Russell Wilson had a good game. I think the Lions defense just that bad. So it helps players like Russell Wilson kind of move around and score some touchdowns. 3 touchdowns, 250 yards. A pretty good game for Russell Wilson. No interception, so you got to be happy about that. But I was asking you earlier, did you see that play where they were punting out of their own end zone and they converted a first down?
Oh, that was dope. That was the punter just taking it on his own. I think he was going to run around there and take a safety, and then he just saw an opening. And if you don't make that, you're putting yourself in a bad spot. But he had the wheels. I wouldn't have made that. I wouldn't have been able to make that. They would have ran me down at probably about the 6-yard line, and then Pete Carroll would have just been screaming at me. But he made it. He got it done.
Super fast. No, but yeah, he almost didn't make that. He made it to like the 8-yard line, and there was somebody right there, and he had to kind of like barrel through for an extra 2 yards. It's pretty cool. He's definitely going to be feeling that later tonight. So as you know, he's going to be rubbing some of that Bengay on his body. But
yeah, he's gonna really be feeling that. That's a big game for a punter, taking a hit like that. The other thing too, there, he showed a lot more stones than Jason Garrett ever has. So maybe Garrett should call that punter. I think the Cowboys got an off week this week. Should get that guy on the phone, see what it takes to get a little bit of courage in your veins. I'll tell you one guy who's got courage in spades. That's our good old friend Pat. Used to buy weed from that guy Mahomes. He wasn't scared of getting caught by the cops when he was slinging weed, and he wasn't scared of Von Miller today. So Chiefs took this one 30-23. Case Keenum threw another pick. Always count on him for at least one turnover. Mahomes 4 touchdown passes, 300 yards. Andy Reid's going to be eating good tonight, and he's going to fill that plate up, enjoy it, because, man, the Chiefs are just on a roll.
Yeah, they're crushing it. Andy Reid's having a good time too. They were giving him a hard time about some reporter asked him a question earlier on in the week, and he said, "I usually go with my gut when I make big decisions, and I have a big gut." And everybody got a chuckle from that. I can't tell you the last time that dude made a joke. So he's feeling good about himself. Pretty exciting to watch the Chiefs right now. Lots of happy white people clapping in that stadium. Very
Lots
exciting.
of them. I've lived in Kansas before, and there are not a lot of Von Miller's relatives in Kansas,
I
right? I mean, it's all a bunch of Alex Smith's relatives that are hanging out in Kansas, and they
feel
were all at the game having a good time.
50-yard line, like doing the fucking Macarena. Some guy looked just like you, dude. Was that
Yeah,
you?
well, you busted me. You busted me. I was at the Chiefs game earlier. I was at the Chiefs game. Ended up, that's one of the funny things that they do on Scott Van Pelt's Sports Center is he's a generic bald white guy. So they'll often find, people will tweet at him whenever they see other generic bald white guys, and they'll
Nice.
be like, "Hey Scott, were you at Bennigan's last night eating mod sticks? Because I saw this guy there and he was pretty hammered, talking shit on the Broncos. I think that may have been you."
Could have been you, brother.
But
Going to the Chiefs, though, Kareem Hunt, beast.
yeah, he did another hurdle. He did another hurdle there. The only thing with that is, fool me once, all right, fool me twice. That next defensive back's going to be waiting for that. And I think he's going to catch a helmet right in the nuts next time he tries that. Because he's going to kind of he's going to feint low, wait for the jump, and then just come up, swinging an arm, swinging a shoulder. He's going to catch one right in the beanbag, and he'll learn his lesson. Keep your feet on the ground, Kareem. I get it. That was sensational. I loved it. But you keep jumping around like that, you're going to catch one to the beanbag sooner or later.
There's sometimes those MMA fights that you'll watch, like somebody will get lifted up off the ground and like get pile drived into the mat. I expect at some point down the road, somebody's gonna grab him and lift him up and pound him into the ground. So
That's going to happen. A couple things with that. So we're talking MMA. The king of the slam, he doesn't, I'm not a huge MMA fan, but I follow it here or there. You remember Quentin Rampage Jackson?
of course.
That guy, I get it. His skill set's up and down, but he was one of the most terrifying UFC fighters of all time. Like,
Very scary.
don't put me in the cage with that guy because he might not stop. So I'd be very worried about him not stopping at the
new
appropriate time.
The new scary person is Derek Lewis. He's fucking huge. The Beast UFC or the Big
Yeah,
Beast or whatever they call him. He's the new guy that scares me.
he's a crusher. But when it comes to body slams, Quentin had some monster body slams. He's probably got a reel on YouTube of him doing that. But that's a guy you did not want him to get your paws on you and lift you off the ground. Joe Rogan's be screaming at you, "Get a base, get a base, and don't let him lift you up." You get the people from the corner. That's the one thing when we were in the military, when I was in the Marine Corps, we did some of this. It's called MCMAP training. All right, so it's Marine Corps Martial Arts Program. That's the acronym, and
Fucking nerds.
it's really stupid. All right, it's really dumb. They teach you a bunch of these really stupid moves that you could only pull off against a drunk person who didn't really know what was going on. You're like grabbing their hand and their arm and twisting it. Or it's like, dude, if you just do that, they're just gonna pull their arm away real quick. You're never getting to stage 3, 4, and 5 of this move that you're talking about. But the other thing they teach you about, they call it a break fall. Okay, so and this is actually very useful. It's something that Aaron Rodgers and Tony Romo don't know how to do because every time they fall down, they break their collarbones.
Yeah.
But it's about, you fall out and you kind of throw your arm out. It dissipates the force and you're not going to break bones when you hit the turf. A couple of my buddies, and this is after we had gotten back from, a combat deployment. We're walking around like a bunch of salty dogs, feeling like we're just General Patton or some hard motherfuckers, and we go and we're in the chow hall eating, and we hear a bunch of these calm boots talking, and they're like, "Yo, I'll tell you what, man. I didn't even see that dude do a proper break fall. He's gonna get hurt. He's gonna get hurt." And we're like, "Oh man, you need to forget all that. You're never gonna fist fight anybody. You got a machine gun, dude. You got a machine gun. You got a knife. You got grenades. Like, you're not getting into fist fights with people." But yeah, that'll happen.
The best is when you and your buddies like watch YouTube videos of people fighting or like instructional videos. So it's you and you guys are all drunk in a house somewhere at a party, and you're trying to show somebody how to do the move, and you grab the guy the wrong way, and they're like, "Oh, wait, hold on a second, restart. Hold on, you got to grab me this way. You grab me the wrong way. You got to grab me like this." So it's like the corniest shit. In real life, you're gonna get fucking sucker punched real quick. That's it's just so funny when people try to teach you moves like that. It's never gonna be like that, like out in the open.
It's never gonna be like that. Some guy's gonna break a pool stick over your face before you can do that wrist flip that you're trying to get done. Shoot it.
Chokehold instantly, and then you're gonna fucking pass out, and then it's gonna be over.
There's one video of Joe Rogan on the internet, some guy fucking with him at this bar, and he just jumps behind him and chokes him unconscious and walks away. I was like, that's how that goes, man. Somebody's going to shoot a double leg on you, crawl on top of you, pound your face in, and then you're just going to be sitting there doing like wrist locks into the air because you can't see anything. And so you're just desperately worried about trying to get that done. There's always those guys. I call them undefeated from the outside of the ring. So we would get in like grappling matches, and there was this one guy, Castro in particular, who he wasn't a pussy or anything, but he wasn't the toughest guy in the world. But he was the ultimate MMA coach when he didn't know what the fuck was going on. He just would scream like, hit him with the armbar, hit him with the armbar, or like triangle. Yeah, triangle, bro, triangle. And then, when it inevitably didn't happen, he'd always turn to the guy to his right and kind of tap him on the shoulder and say, "Hey man, I would have hit him with the triangle there, man. It would have been all over." It's like, would have been all over. It's like, dude, you just spent 3 minutes in there, and Cloud tapped you out 9 times. I don't think that you would have done that. I don't think you would have been that successful. But my favorite thing about the nut punches is the old school UFC. If you haven't seen any like really old school UFC fights, you haven't lived. The ones with who Tank Abbot is?
No. So
Tank Abbot, he looks like he got up off of a bar stool, took his shirt off, and then walked in the ring. And all he does is plod around and throw haymakers at people. So he's a tremendous, tremendous man to watch old YouTube videos of. But that was kind of his era, and when he could kind of pull hair and do all sorts of dirty stuff. But there's this one video. I don't know if it's this guy, Dan Severin, he was like a wrestler with the must. He looked like Tom Selleck, but UFC fighter version of Tom Selleck. Yeah, he had a very thick mustache, like it was robust. He's offering mustache rides. He's definitely doing that. But he got this guy in this, what do they call that? I think they call it like a crucifix. And what it is, he's got his legs pinned down and his arms pinned down. He's kind of crawled on the side of him. And he submitted somebody with nut punches. And so he submitted him with a violent series of testicle blows, like just one after another. He must have hit him in the groin 10 to 15 times before this thing ended. And, guy's got a cup on, obviously. But even at that, I've never really worn a cup for athletic events because, when you quit playing sports in high school. I played high school sports, but, you're not playing at a high level of anything. You kind of risk it, I suppose. I don't think most of these NFL guys wear cups anyway. I know all the fighters do. But even if you got a cup on, it's not, it's kind of like having a helmet on for your nuts. You're not feeling nothing when that happens. Yeah, you're maybe being protected from some structural damage here or there, but you are feeling the pain of some grown man who's trained to fight beating the hell out of your beanbag for 3 minutes. I'd give up too.
You
That
can
would
still get
definitely.
CTE, so you can still get like the nutsack version of CTE. You know, you can
Yeah.
still.
I
So I
mean,
googled Tank Abbott. I googled him. He looks hilarious, by the way. One of the first things that popped up, he says on his pod, he's got a podcast like us called
yeah.
very similar material, I'm sure. I'm going to quote him. I will fight any woman on this earth for free. If I win, which is going to happen, and you're going to get bashed up good, you have to make me a sandwich. If you win, I'll give you $100,000. You can't be a tranny. You got to be a female. That's a quote from him. So, a little bit of
Tank's a very enlightened man. He's very enlightened.
yeah. So,
That's very, very incendiary. I think that's what you're going to do from now on is you're just going to say incendiary things and then quote them as coming from Tank Abbott, and nobody will second guess anything. No one's going to second guess that.
he's a known fan for being the biggest fan of a wrestling boy band. He's threatened to kill a man with a knife on live pay-per-view. He's a character in a Clint Eastwood orangutan movie. So he's got a pretty brilliant resume. I'm excited to learn more about Tank Abbott in the coming weeks. Very exciting. If
Yeah,
you love gotta look
moving.
named Big Country for UFC. It's this dude. He looks kind of like Tank Abbott's like little nephew.
Yes, Roy Nelson.
Yeah, Roy Nelson. And he's got this gnarly beard, and he has a very similar fighting style. He's got a gut. He's got man boobs, looking like Lunchables size nipples. But that's his thing. He just throws fucking widowmakers, and it's very enjoyable to watch.
I love those guys. I love any heavyweight who I think the heavyweight limit is 265. If you've got to do a cut to get under that, I'm a fan of yours. I'm a fan of yours, particularly if you're carrying at least 40 pounds of body fat.
Right? If you've got a mullet, if you've got like some mullet or like one of those like mullet like analogs, I love it. And that's what he has. It's a fucking mullet.
So you know who Daniel Cormier is, correct?
Of course.
So what's weird about him is how is that dude so fat? Like
he's got a I was listening to a podcast about him, I think a Joe Rogan one. He's not fat. He just has like that little meatball like very compact muscle. So he has
he's fat. I mean, he's fat. Like, I mean,
actually, I'm not even a DMC fan, so I don't even know why I'm talking. Okay, he's fat.
I mean, but I don't get it. I mean, because like some guys, like, all right, so Tank Abbott, Roy Nelson, they are in terrible shape. They're going to gas out in 3 minutes. If you can just avoid them for a while, that zip's coming off those punches and you've got the upper hand. Even that Derek Lewis guy, like he's not a cardio machine, but Daniel Cormier, like that dude is like simultaneously insanely in shape and insanely out of shape at the same time. He's living some sort of like quantum life where he's in two different states simultaneously. And I don't get it. I don't understand how he's able to pull that off. Like, how are you in such tremendous condition that you can go 25 minutes with the world's most supreme athletes and come out on top every time, except for when John Jones is all cooked up, beating your head in? Like, and then, you're the champ, but it's like, you don't look like the champ. You don't look like the champ at all. So that's a dangerous thing.
That's why it's so great to watch him excel and that's why I like Roy Nelson too, because when you look at these people, you're like, I could kick that guy's ass. I could get behind him, maybe like throw an elbow, knock this fucker out. And that's why I don't talk shit, because you never expect the person, like, you never expect this guy to be the champion. I mean, I'm looking at him right now. It looks like he just rolled out of bed. He looks like shit. And what's even crazier too, he's like 35. He's not a young guy. He's been doing this for years and at a high level. So I don't know if we're ever going to see another guy like this. But I
mean, Cormier is an Olympic level wrestler. I don't know if he won a medal or anything like that, but I think he might have. And wrestlers are notorious for being just machines when it comes to working out. He must just love to eat. I mean, that's the answer right there. The dude loves to eat. I mean, that's
Yeah.
kind of what it all comes down to.
They had the promo fight for the Derek Lewis Daniel Cormier fight, and I guess it's like some stupid Instagram post, and they're like, "We want to know like what the beef is between you and Daniel," and then Derek Lewis is like, "He disrespected that Popeye's chicken." I guess like he did
Oh, really?
ate a Popeye's drumstick or whatever. So Derek Lewis has having some fun with it, shitting on DMC.
When
Pretty
it
cool.
comes to fast food chicken, all right, Popeyes
It's king.
number one. Number one.
It's
Like,
expensive though, man. It ain't cheap.
dude,
You
it is crazy expensive. I don't get that, but I'm gonna pay it. I mean, it's so delicious. Popeyes number one, KFC number two. Wildly variable depending on which KFC you're walking into and which time of day.
agreed. Agreed.
I mean, you go into any KFC about, I don't know, 8 at night or anytime 2 hours after peak, you're getting some very, very dry and very stringy chicken. They do not like if you go into like a Little Caesars, they got those hot and readies. Every now and then I'll go in there and they'll actually scan one and they'll be like, "Oh, I can't give this to you. It's too old." And I'm like, "But just give it to me. It's ready. Like it's fine. Like just give me the damn pizza. You're not I mean, you're not. It's not a 5-star. It's not a Michelin star restaurant right here. It's like open it up. Let me see that. Now looks fine. Give it to me. No, I can't do that. All right. You got your policies, man. I don't get them, but that's fine. Just put it out back for the homeless guys that dig through the dumpster. Which, if you're a homeless guy, dumpster diving behind Little Caesars is like a daily routine for those people.
Really,
Lots of
huh?
yeah, they
Throw it
throw
all.
them away. I mean, or they set them aside and then they eat them all. That's probably what's going on. It's more that that guy's hungry. And he's just like, no, I can't give you this one. Like, why not? He's like, this is mine. This is mine. This is going to be mine. I'll just yell back and I'll give you some free crazy bread for your trouble. All right. All right. Thank you. I
I just
appreciate
gotta.
that.
You give me ketchup. I'm ethnic for the listeners in Sweden and fucking Russia, wherever. I'm ethnic, aka I'm not white. You just need to give me ketchup. I will eat anything as long as I have ketchup. You name it, dude. I'll fucking eat it. Go ahead, name something.
Coconut.
I'll eat it. See, I'll
Yeah.
eat it. I'll eat it every time.
KFC at 9 o'clock at night.
Oof, give me that ketchup. Give me
Church,
that ketchup.
Church's chicken.
Chicken? Oh, fucking forget it, dude. I don't want barbecue sauce. I don't want no honey chicken bullshit. Give me the ketchup and give me a lot of ketchup. Don't skimp out and give me the stupid little 2, 3 little things of that. You give me the dippy ones where I can dip the whole fucking thing in there.
That's crazy because you're eating all my ketchup. I do not eat ketchup. I have not eaten ketchup for at least 30 years. As long as I can remember in my lifetime, I have never eaten ketchup. I will avoid it at any turn, and I will go hungry in lieu of eating any food that has ketchup on it.
What about mayo? You like mayo?
Hate mayonnaise. Hate
What?
it. Yeah, it's gross.
But,
But here's the
but
weird
you're
thing, right? Like I like barbecue sauce, and I know in the back of my mind that a lot of people making barbecue sauce are just squirting ketchup into something and then mixing it with like cumin and brown sugar, and then it's like, oh, there you go, you got barbecue sauce. So I get that. I try and block that out of my head, but I've got this. It nothing about it makes any sense, and I'm not trying to have it make any sense. Everybody's got weird stuff going on. You know, some people don't eat ketchup. You know, some people put it on everything. You know, I
Let
don't
me
like
ask you a question.
mayonnaise either.
What do you eat, dip your wings in when you have wings?
Ranch. Yeah. Ranch. I'm
What about
white, so I mean ranch is that's on the flag under Taco Bell. Like that's like in the if we had to put a fourth thing on the flag, it'd probably be ranch.
you people love ranch, dude? It's fucking hilarious. You guys love that shit. You guys would swim in it if you could.
Yeah, I got a bathtub full of it. But I mean ranch is ranch is like mayonnaise with vinegar in it basically. This is my understanding. That's weird. Nothing about it makes any sense, but that's the way it is. Let's move on here. Let's talk about the Panthers hosting the Ravens. Panthers win this one 36-21. Ravens fall to 4-4. Joe Flacco doesn't care. He doesn't care about anything. Whether win, lose, draw, he's going home, masturbating, going to sleep in a pile of his own semen. He doesn't even care to clean that off. He'll have one of his helpers clean it off in the morning with his gigantic contract and all the money he's stolen from the Ravens.
Oh, did I get some on the mattress? Well, fucking throw it out. Give me a new one. Or call 1-800-HELIX. We'll get a
Call Sean Payton's brother. Hook me up.
I just bought one last week. He'll hook it up. He'll definitely hook it up.
Have him sneak me one out the back, man. Just to give me the hookup. I'll throw him $300 cash.
Out the trash. At around 9 p.m., I'll be there at fucking 9:10. I'll be right there, brother. I'm on my way. I'm already in the car.
He's already in the car. Good Cam showed up today. He had a great pregame outfit as well. I love the way that guy dresses. I could never get away with that. He had kind of capri pants on with this crazy suit and this ostentatious hat. And he was really prepared. I mean, it's a good thing that, that they won. Otherwise, I wonder if you switch over for the press conference or at least lose the hat for the press conference. I didn't see it, but I got to imagine he had that hat on in the full get up.
What happened to this guy? Didn't somebody dress up as in an inflatable sumo suit today?
Possibly. I didn't see all the Halloween costumes, but when we're talking about looking like an asshole, the Clemson Tigers gave the Florida State Seminoles quite a whooping on Saturday. And there were a couple guys in the crowd that were all glittered up. They were Florida State fans. One of them was painted maroon and the other one was gold. Sorry, Seminole fans, if I don't know your exact color template, but they were a couple guys. They had the reporter went up there and she's like, how long does it take you to get this on? How long does it take you to get it off? Like, what do you do? They're like, we just go in the back and hose each other down. It's like, okay, yeah, that's kind of what I would do too. But they had them there. And of course, I'm a big fan.
Quarter. That shit is, ugh.
That's tough. I mean, it's tough to have to do that stuff.
Stressed, sweat, like that shit's coming off of you. You're pissing off the people in front of you, pissing off the people behind you. Have some fucking self-respect. Wear a t-shirt.
Wear a t-shirt because guess what? The producers are keeping track of you, and later on in the game, they're going to bring guys like me back as Trevor Lawrence throws his 4th touchdown pass of the game, and I am looking for you, pausing my TV, taking pictures and posting them on Sad Fan Crowd Shots on Twitter. Big plug there. But anyhow, they had a good one later in the game of those guys just standing there heartbroken, absolutely heartbroken. And the good thing for them is they're at a home game, so they don't have to suffer the disgraces of our Ohio State fan we were talking about the other day. But you're always that's coming off with some tears when they're hosing each other down in the backyard.
Yeah, that's a bad loss right there. They said it was tied for their worst loss in school history, which is
only tied because they got a pity touchdown at the end of it.
Yeah, so it was actually worse than their worst win in school history.
Yeah, Willie Taggert. I mean, people have been on him since the beginning. There's no first-year coach feeling the heat more than he is. Now, granted, I'd imagine in terms of his contract, I bet if you go on their board, you go on any of their message boards, they're doing some Gus Malzahn type calculations to try and see how quickly they can get rid of Willie Taggert. But A&M lost last weekend too, so it's not like Jimbo's. It's not like he's missed that much. Everybody's looking for their own Nick Saban.
Well, Florida State had a bad weekend all around. I think it's a pretty good segue if you want to talk about a certain Florida State quarterback that didn't have a good day and was benched for a white guy with a beard from Harvard. If you want to segue.
So there were 4 people that didn't get seen this week by our good friend Jameis Winston. He pulled a 4-fist Peterman, got benched, and then in came Ryan Fitzpatrick. And there is nobody in the world that can lead a team almost back to victory like Ryan Fitzpatrick. He doesn't always get you there, but oh man, that was fun. And who would have thought that you'd be thinking to yourself at the end of any game, oh no, I think they left Andy Dalton too much time. Did I just say that? Did that come out of my mouth? Because that's what I was thinking when the Red Rocket had that ball with 2 minutes left was, oh my God, I think this might end up badly for Fitzpatrick. But after the game, Cutter came out and he wasn't ready to name his starting quarterback, but he's in a Sean McDermott position where he's going to lose that locker room if he doesn't trot Fitzpatrick out there next week.
The best was looking at the Bucs sideline as these interceptions were being thrown. Go back and take a look at those. There are some pissed off Buccaneers on that sideline. They are not happy. So I think they're pissed off with Winston. Those character flaws, they're there. People don't like him. They really don't like him.
I mean, when you go, before the game, he was doing his bullshit speeches to try and get everyone pumped up and just pissing everybody off. But the real question is not, all right, is Dirk Cutter going to get fired? Yeah, he's going to get fired. We all know that. But are they going to go tank it out with Jameis and then just go for broke the way the Giants are doing it? Or does Fitzpatrick basically end up screwing them by getting them to like 8-8? Because he could do that. I mean, it's not unforeseeable that the Bucs could finish there. Let's look at their schedule real quick, see where they're going from here. You got Carolina, Washington, New York Giants. All right, so you got the Giants in San Francisco. Those are both wins. And they could probably win, 3 or 4 more games. Right. So
nothing kills the fan base more than mediocrity. So if he brings them to 8-8, that's a bad thing for Tampa Bay fans. So you guys need to be rooting for Jameis Winston.
Yeah, I mean you gotta cut off the nose despite the face this year and just go out there, let him sling it around. Because here's the other thing too. I think he's in his 4th year, and they're in the same position that the Jaguars were in last year, except for the winning games and making it to the playoffs sort of deal. But they got to make a decision on him whether they want to extend his 5th year option and bring.
Spoiler, they're not going to.
I wouldn't. Why would you do that? Why would you give him $19 million, $20 million to come back and do this shit again? I mean,
they're not.
He hasn't done anything over the last couple of years to indicate that would be warranted. Another guy going down that road is Mitch.
Quarterback kind of fly underneath the radar. Ryan Tannehill has kind of gone underneath the radar and hasn't been like historically bad. But Jameis Winston has been fucking dog shit.
Actually, I was looking at something earlier, and he has been historically bad. I guess the bottom 4 passers in the league are the 3 rookies, Mayfield, Rosen, and who's the other guy? Oh, Darnold. And then the other guy's Ryan Tannehill. So he has been that bad. But he's injured. He's injured just enough to kind of like hide from his own bad self. And you get a little taste of Brock Osweiler. And I'll be honest, you never thought you'd say it, but I think Brock Osweiler might be the best option at quarterback for them moving forward the rest of the year. And it seems strange to say, but I think it's the truth in Miami.
The truth. You can't have a quarterback. If Ryan Tannehill comes back, he'll play 2 weeks and then he's gone for a 3rd week. You can't have that type of inconsistency. If you're going to try to make the playoffs, you can't change every week. You need to hitch your wagon to the horse, whatever the fuck the analogy or whatever it is. You gotta stick to your guns and you gotta choose somebody. And they've chosen Brock Lobster.
The Brock Lobster is the way to go. Another guy heading down the path of the Brock Lobster's career. Hey, Mitch Trubisky, good running back. He had 220 yards passing today, but I think 75 or 80 of them were on that little screen pass. To 70 of them were to Tariq Cohen on that one little screen pass. So he really only had about 150 yards passing. They did cover the spread there. I think it was plus 7.5. Bears 24, Jets 10. Bears move to 4-3. Jets fall to 3-5. And here's the deal. I think the burners are getting heated up on Todd Bowles at this point. I get they got a young team. I get they got a rookie quarterback. But there's so much garbage going on in New York that, hey, it would make sense if the coach that was 1-7 got fired, but he's got a new contract and he's got the excuse of having Eli Manning as his quarterback. But this may be the end of the road for Bowles, and I think that's probably warranted when it comes to
I think time to move on. He's not a bad coach, but they're in like super mega rebuilding stage. So do you want to rebuild with him or do you want to rebuild with somebody else? That's really the question the GMs of the Jets need to ask. Because if they're kind of like, well, we don't mind him being terrible, at least in the short run, at least keep him.
Yeah, that ultimately affects their job too. I mean, that rolls uphill at a certain point, and I think he's probably gone at the end of the year.
How the fuck is he gone? But Hugh Jackson still has a job.
Yeah, we're still waiting on that. That Todd Haley, Greg Williams fist fight might turn into a very surprised Todd Haley, Hugh Jackson fist fight, which I had Greg Williams as a plus 225 favorite against Haley. I'm flipping the tables. Todd Haley's pissed. He is pissed, and I got him as a plus 350 over Hugh Jackson. And that's going to end in a TKO, probably with Greg Williams pulling Todd Haley off of Hugh Jackson and then sneaking in a couple rabbit punches as he's doing it. Because that's the type of guy Greg Williams is. One coach who's not in danger of being fired. That's John Gruden. Only 9.5 more years left, Raiders fans. Colts go in there 42-28. There's a smattering of boos. And I'll tell you what, I give the Raiders credit for this. They had a full turf field today, and it looked good on TV. So looked good. Field looked good. Mark Davis's haircut looked good. Unfortunately, the offense struggled in the fourth quarter while Andrew Luck piled up the points and led the Colts to another victory.
Derek Carr, Razor Scooter, or what is it? Derek Razor Scooter Carr. He actually played a pretty good game today, 250 yards and 3 touchdowns, but not enough to lift the Raiders. Lost to Andrew Luck and the Colts. But we kind of predicted that game was going to get out of hand because both of those defenses are dog shit. And look at that, dude, 70 points. So if you bet the over with us, there you go. We made some money today.
Just remember, ladies, don't get in that limo. All right, don't get in the limo. It could be the last limo you ever get in. So don't do it. Jim's ready to party, and you need to stay the fuck away from that guy. Just like
traps too. Sometimes they'll follow you at those Uber points, and a mysterious dark car will pull up and say, "Yes, I am the Uber driver." If you see a red-faced goblin driving that car, you just keep walking. You just keep on walking.
Yeah, Uber drivers don't pull up and stretch limos. All right, that's your first heads up. And then also look for the little sticker. And I think these days, I just took an Uber to a Blazers game the other day, and they have they got a couple little innovations there, but there's a lot of safety features set up, because of all the crimes and so forth. But moving on here, we're going to cruise past this one real quick, just like we did in the preview. This was a stinker. Tough one to watch. But, hey, we get in these afternoon games. The only 3 afternoon games were the Colts-Raiders, this 49ers-Cardinals game, and then the Packers-Rams. And Cardinals, they beat the 49ers 18-15. C.J. Beathard is terrible. Josh Rosen, they switched offensive coordinators this week. And, ultimately, they ended up winning the game. They got it turned on in the fourth quarter. Only interesting thing was at the end of that game, the Niners are driving there in field goal range. And then in typical tank mode fashion, it was almost like Shanahan was like, "Hey, man, I need you to do me a favor. We got Jimmy G coming back next year. We need some good players. Do me a favor and snap this ball over Beathard's head." Because that's his last play of the game. 10 seconds left. All they got to do is throw a nice little seam route down there. Anything. Get another 10 yards. Give your kicker a chance. This is a dome stadium. You got a good chance at that point. Force overtime. Thank goodness for me, for you, for all the rest of the viewers in America, that didn't happen because the last thing we needed was 10 more minutes of Cardinals 49ers. But the guy goes ahead and snaps it over the head of Beathard, who panics. He goes into full panic mode, runs around a little bit, throws it, time runs out, and everyone in Arizona is happy for the second time this year. The only other time they were happy was the only other time they played the 49ers. So the Cardinals are 2-0 against the Niners, 0-6 against the rest of the NFL. So if those trends continue, they may lose 8 straight because they got no more Niners games on the schedule to get themselves right.
I like you putting that tinfoil hat on your head, having Shanahan pull outside this player and telling him to fuck up the play. I like it. I like it a lot. But going back to the Niners, really tough to be a Niners fan. I'm going to read you off their schedule. Next week they're playing Oakland, followed by the Giants, then a bye week, and then they got to play Tampa, and then a Seattle snooze fest game.
I'll tell you what, though, that's dangerous for them. I mean, those next 2 games,
totally winnable.
Totally winnable. And that's dangerous because, I mean, the Raiders, they are not fucking trying it. Gruden's probably going to trade 3 more serviceable players before that next week's game. So it's going to be tough to lose to the Raiders. And, I mean, they might get beat by the Giants as much as I hate to admit it. I love watching the Giants just implode on themselves. But I don't know. That's a dangerous time for the 49ers. They can end up stacking up a couple wins.
Which is not good.
That's not what you want to be doing in the Bay Area. All right, leave the wins to the Warriors. You guys just keep tanking it out. That way you can, I don't know, get a top offensive tackle or, big wide receiver, somebody who can help out Jimmy next year because this is a lost season. So just pack it on in and let it be over with. Speaking of packing things in, the Packers, their fans showed up in L.A. I don't know how much of that game you watched, but it was like not surprisingly, obviously, the shittiest football fans in the world reside in Los Angeles. Be you a Rams fan, be you a Chargers fan, you're fair weather, you're no good, you're selling your tickets off. And that stadium was at least 50% Packers fans as they got to watch the demise of their team. That was good game, good close game. Gurley was getting it done. Goff had a good game. Rodgers had a good game. Montgomery at the end, he cost the Packers a game there very directly, fumbling that kickoff.
Ruins the game. There's a couple things I don't like. I don't like when the ref makes a call and it totally changes the dynamic of the game. They need to fix that. And they need to fix that because what I want an Aaron Rodgers 2-minute drill, and I didn't get it. I got the Ty Montgomery sad face, slow camera, and then Rams players high-fiving each other. I didn't want that. I'm okay with an Aaron Rodgers interception in the end zone to end the game, but I'm not okay with the Ty Montgomery trying to do too much.
I mean, that was a 75% chance the Packers win that. 75 to 85% chance the Packers win that thing if he doesn't fumble that ball.
Get him to field goal range, and he could do that. That's not hard for Rodgers.
It was right at the 2-minute warning. They had a timeout left. He's plenty of time. No reason at all that they couldn't have taken that thing. The other thing, too, is that Jones dude for the Packers, 12 rushes, 86 yards. What did he do to Mike McCarthy? Do we need to get Adrian Peterson to send Mike one of his copies of The Rock so he understands how running backs work? It's all right, let's do the math on this thing. Give the guy that ball 20 times, get 150 yards out of him, and then keep Goff and Gurley off the field. If Gurley had 25 attempts, why can't Jones get at least 20? This is ridiculous.
He's good. They put too much on Aaron Rodgers. That's what it is they're making him throw the ball too much. Give it to this Jones guy. He's pretty solid. He's pretty good.
Just give it to him. And then the last thing we got going on tonight, we get the Saints, the Vikings. So that's coming up on halftime. Saints 16, Vikings 13. I'm going to get into that thing, see what's going on there. And then tomorrow night, Pats, Bills. I'm going to enjoy that. I think Michelle's out. I think Gronk's probably going to be out. They'll probably limp to a victory. I think Derek Anderson will be playing again, so that should be an easy win for the Pats. And then it'll be at the halfway point. They'll be 6-2. We all remember a month ago when they were 1-2. The interesting thing was this year, even when they were 1-2, coming off that loss to the Jaguars, nobody even had the balls to write any kind of panic story. Like a couple years ago when they lost to the Chiefs on Monday Night Football, Trent Dilfer very infamously went out and said the dynasty was over. They've won 2 Super Bowls since then, so that's tough going for Trent. Bad call there. But after this year's start, I was like, how panicked are you? No one cares. No one cares. They get the Bills twice. They get the Jets twice. They get the Dolphins twice. They're going to be okay.
They're going to be just fine. They're lucky they're in the AFC East.
Yeah. I mean, they've owned that for years and years. So, right, PG, any other closing thoughts here before we head out and get into this last game of the week?
No, I'm sitting here watching the game right now. I don't know, Mike Zimmer does not look happy. He looks pissed off. It looks like Adam Thielen might have dropped the ball and they ran it back all the way to the other side, and then they just kicked a few, extra points. So now it's 17-13. Mike Zimmer is red-faced and he is pissed.
That's his standard state of being. He's gonna get another one of those veins in his eye that burst. Be coaching the rest of the year in sunglasses and an eye patch, but he doesn't care. He doesn't care at all. He loves football more than Ricky loves those taquitos, and he's going to keep eating it up no matter how many passes Thielen drops. So watch out, Possums, on the path of Mike Zimmer's ride home, because if this doesn't turn for the Vikings, it's going to be tough times for you. You ain't slowing that thing down. We're not slowing down either. We're heading into the rest of the weekend. Everybody have a great week. We'll see you back here on Thursday night for a Week 9 NFL preview.
Nueve.